What's up guys, it's Max Merck here, and today I'm really excited to show you guys this beautiful 2020 C300 4MATIC sedan. And I know I've done a lot of videos on this W205 generation C-Class, but this 2020 should be the last model year for this generation C-Class, the W205. As for 2021, or at least 2022 for sure, they should have the next generation C-Class out. So while I have this 2020 model right in front of me, it has a couple of nicely spec'd options. It is a sport package car, as you guys can see. I want to show you guys a couple of the cool features, lighting aspects, quirky parts of it, right before we get to see the new model come out and kind of say a farewell to the W205 generation. So first thing you can notice with the facelift W205, you kind of have these spider web design headlights. As you can see, I unlocked the car. You still have that signature Mercedes LED daytime running light right here that also acts as your turn signal. And I'm so happy that Mercedes has started including LED headlights for base model cars, because even for the pre-facelift W205, the base model car would have halogen headlights. And also you can see for the sport package cars, you have this diamond cut grille. Looks very nice, very classy, especially on a black car. But if we move along to this side, you can see for the facelift, the base 18-inch AMG wheels. As you can see, it has this kind of border around the edge here, and it's actually a lip. Like, I can stick my finger back here, so it's actually this piece right here that kind of sticks out. I've noticed that Mercedes has done a lot of this with their newer AMG design wheels, and I'm not sure if it's for aerodynamics, I'm not sure if it's functional, I'm not sure if it's for the structural rigidity of the wheel, or if it's just a design element. But let me know in the comments what you guys think of this. I personally wish they had kind of gone for a more smooth design. I don't know why it's like this. As you can see, it's a ridge. It's not that the actual wheel is smaller, but it makes the wheel appear smaller. Whereas I feel it could be a little, the cutoff could be a little more slope. But let me know what you guys think in the comments. And as you can see, we also have these 4-piston brakes up front as a part of the sport package, and you do also get these cross-drilled ventilated rotors. So power trunk lids are nothing new for, the more premium Mercedes models such as the S-Class, highly equipped E-Classes. The new 2020 C-Class, or at least this sport package model, has its standard. And what's quirky about this is that there's so many different ways to open the trunk, it's not even funny. First, obviously, you can open it with a key. And then obviously close it with the key. You have the standard latch back here, of course, as every Mercedes does, so that's 2 ways. You can do it from the interior as well, so that's 3 ways. And then there's my favorite feature, the hands-free access. So let's say you have the key in your pocket. As part of the keyless go system, you have a handful of groceries or a box. You just kick underneath the bumper right here. The trunk opens up. You can put your groceries in. Or let's say you're unloading your cargo and you want to close the trunk. Same thing, kick, it'll go ahead and close. And then you'll notice you also have 2 buttons here as well, as any standard Mercedes, to close, and then this button will close and then lock the car after. And now I'm coming to you from the future, because there's one little quirk that I forgot about the trunk that I have noticed in previous models. If you go ahead and open the trunk, if the car is equipped with the power trunk lid, if you wanted to go ahead and manually close it on the older cars, you could go ahead and just manually close it and it wouldn't give you any assistance at all. You could close it and treat it like a manual trunk. But with these newer models, let's say you just want to close it like a normal trunk, or you forget, go ahead and close it, try to close it. It'll go ahead and start and then finish closing the trunk on its own, so you really don't even need to push the button. I remember playing with this all the time, and I always remembered that if you wanted to close it like a normal trunk, you could. But now if you try and close it like a normal trunk, it's gotten intelligent. And then another really underrated feature that I love about these Mercedes sedans is this. So this is a little cargo storage tray. As you can see, it pulls out right like this, and then you can push it down at any adjustable level and put your cargo in however deep as you want, and it'll prevent your groceries, your cargo, or whatever from rolling around. And then as you can see, you push this button right here, fine old German engineering, pops right up, and then there's 2 latches right here. If you pull, it'll very easily pop down, and you can get rid of that and have a little more height in your trunk, and then just easily pop it back in, push these latches. So before we head inside the car, I just want to show you guys this cool spiderweb design headlight. So as I said, this is the base LED headlight that you get on the W205 C-Class, the facelift model. No more halogen for the base models. And then you do also have the multi-beam LED as an upgrade, which is adaptive, of course, and you have adaptive high beam. In terms of function at night, this LED headlight performs much better than the outgoing halogen model. So moving to the back of the car, I'm a huge fan of the facelift taillights. As you can see, it's shaped like a C right here on the right side, and I think this is a really signature design element just exclusively for the C-Class. None of the other models have it shaped like a C like this, and it's a little reminiscent of the facelift W204, like my C63. In the headlight, it has a little C as well. And I love how this is exclusive just for the C-Class, because, you know, nowadays a lot of these Mercedes are starting to look very similar, and this is such a great way to distinguish the C-Class in a very fashionable way. So this is the new key. As you can see, it's pretty universal across the Mercedes lineup. They've done away with the old start button. You can no longer remove it, but now you have this very beautiful pulsating, it's not pulsating now, but, you know, once you first get in the car, close the door, it starts pulsating like this. Very nice. I do miss the old, you know, being able to pull it out and then manually starting it, but, you know, as with the evolution of these cars, it's just it's a welcome change. So as you can see, this car is also equipped with the 12.3-inch digital instrument cluster, and I am a huge fan of this. I think it's a huge step forward for these cars. So as you can see right now, we are on the sport display. You can control it with the steering wheel mounted buttons here. You have some touch sensitive buttons right here on the left and right. This one controls your command screen, and on the left one it controls your digital instrument cluster. As you can see, you have your home button here. You can scroll through. You can, you know, pretty much do a lot of the shortcut functions and a lot of the same stuff that you've seen in previous Mercedes, but in a much more streamlined, much more modern look. So this is the classic display, progressive. I'm personally a fan of the sport. And to be completely honest with you guys, I am not the biggest fan of these. I actually miss the physical buttons because it gets a little tiring and annoying just swiping like this when you're trying to drive, and, you know, it's just having the tactile feedback of the buttons, but I'm sure it's something you get used to. And looking to the left, you know, very standard W205 stuff, but now as you can see, we have ambient lighting as a part of the premium package on this car. So you have 64 colors you can choose from all around the car, everywhere around the wooden waterfall trim. I hope you guys can see it. It's, you know, it's still daylight outside, it's hard to see, but in this bluish purple color, it does a great job of showcasing it. And as you can see, moving towards the back, the rear seats, the rear footwell, and the rear shelf, all of it has the ambient lights as well. Of course, if your car is equipped with navigation, you can have it set to show that in the digital instrument cluster right here. This car does not. You know, you have a G-force meter right there, and you have your aluminum looking paddle shifters as a part of the sport package. They feel really nice. Everything in this car feels really good quality. As you can see, this car does also have a wireless charging pad, so if you go ahead and slide your phone in there, it's a really nice touch. It'll go ahead and start charging. And you also have a USB port right here for your Apple CarPlay connectivity. And I'm also a fan of the facelift screen. It's a little bigger than the pre-facelift. They've done away with the touchpad, which no one really used anyway. The infotainment system is, you know, you're starting to get a lot of features in here, but everything is straightforward, and I'm a huge fan of the shortcuts feature because that makes things a lot more simple. You know, I have engine data here because I like driving with that display up. You can have your ambient color settings in your shortcuts. I think that makes this user interface, the command interface, a lot more friendly. As you can see, we can go to the color settings right here. You have 64 different colors to play with. As you can see, we can move to red. The interior changes to red, whatever color you want. You can set a nice mood for your date, for whoever's in the car, for the kids. Personally, I think blue is the most visible during the day. Of course, like I said, we have some daylight right now, so it's a little harder to see, but they've done an absolutely amazing job just incorporating it with the trim, with the center stack, and all of the passengers in this car will be happy because, as you can see, we've got one USB port here, and then I hope you guys can see in the rear seats, you have two more down here on top of a 12 volt. So another quirky thing I've noticed is in the rear seat, the rear cup holders are pretty German as they get. So as you can see, you have to open it, and you can pretty much custom fit any size drink. You know, a lot of American McDonald's drinks, Dunkin' Donuts drinks, 7-Eleven. I've seen the evolution of Mercedes cup holders has gotten so much bigger, and now they've basically just made it so you can just pretty much size and fit any size cup you want, and that's pretty neat. So this is my roommate Devesh, and one of our favorite features of the W205 in general, pre-facelift or not, is pretty, you know, higher end Mercedes do this, but I'm so happy that Mercedes has incorporated this into the C-Class. When you go ahead and put in your seatbelt, you can see it goes ahead and gives you a little hug, and this is part of the pre-safe, so if you do a hard emergency braking, or the car detects or if the car starts to detect that you will be in an accident, it'll go ahead and retract the seatbelt and pull you back. But every time you go ahead and clip it for the first time, it'll go ahead and give you a nice little hug. And then last but not least, one of my favorite interior touches in here is the analog clock you get when you get the wood trim option. And, you know, as we say our kind of final farewells to the W205 C-Class, it's amazing to see the evolution of the C-Class and how far it's come. You know, coming from my experience, it really only goes back to the W203, but, you know, being such an entry-level Mercedes in those times, and then, you know, advancing into the W204 generation, and then the W205 really started to become the baby S-Class. I remember when this car first came out, and especially in the luxury form with the grille, it really does look like a baby S-Class. And now, as we reach the final year of this car, the amount of technology Mercedes has packed into it, as you can see, obviously, with that digital instrument cluster and with such a big display and the waterfall. That's what I've always loved about Mercedes and their model lineup. It starts at the S-Class and it trickles down. And overall, in the used market, these W205s are becoming really good values, and I'd really love to snag one up myself one day, obviously an earlier model. But I will definitely be really sad to see this W205 go, and I look forward to seeing the new generation. So definitely let us know what you guys think in the comment section below of the W205 Generation C-Class. If you'll be sad to see it go, if you're excited for the next generation, or what your favorite generation C-Class is. Thanks for watching. For more content, follow me on my Instagram at MaxMerc63. If you guys like this video, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more content.